Lying protected under a police tent, the body of a boy, found this afternoon by officers hunting for 2-year-old James Bulger. The police had maintained their optimism for most of the day that James may have been sheltering out of sight. The body was discovered on a railway line right next to a police station in Walton, Liverpool, over 2 miles from where he disappeared. Officers brought in lighting equipment to enable them to work after dark. A search of the line may help to establish when the body was dumped. 2-year-old James was last seen over 48 hours ago outside this butcher's shop in a Bootle arcade. Security cameras photographed his apparent abduction by 2 youths. As they walked out of the centre, one witness actually challenged them, but the youths said they were taking James to his mother. Dozens of police officers had spent much of the day searching both used and disused railway tracks in their hunt for the missing toddler. A post-mortem on the body they found is due to take place later tonight.
Morning everybody, FatSteve, Spicehead-Media, and I'm just outside of Liverpool, Lime Street, and I've come to do something a little bit different, so you'll have to bear with me till I get where I'm going. I'll flick round there and give you that tower. That's looking good. Just about in. It's quite cloudy, quite windy, quite cold, quite overcast here in Liverpool. So here we go. So I'm coming down from the station, heading across to the other station, which is the underground, and see, it's very windy, very blowy, very overcast, and quite cold, to be honest. I've got like a tracksuit top on, just about avoiding this traffic. So we're outside St John's shopping centre, heading down, thank you, down the ramp, folks, and then we're just cutting through the little shopping centre down here to get to the other station. And we'll see how we go. So there's not many people about, a bit of work going on here. And we're down. I've got a race on now. Smell of food wafting over towards me. So this camera angle's on a funny one as usual. So normally it's very busy here, but so it's only around 10 o'clock in the morning. Got a nice big B&M Costa to the left, and I'm coming into the shopping centre. This woman's dusting all the stock. So plenty of stuff in here. Big B&M to the right, big pharmacy to the left. And there's a crossover here. I'm going to, I think it's called James Street, this station. Not sure. No, it's not James Street, it's Liverpool Central. So we'll get in here and we'll see what there is. Are you right, man? You're alright. So we're across and we're in. So I'm going to leave you there. I'll come back in a few minutes.
The next
I'm going underground. Yeah, I'm on the tube, I think, and this train's heading to Southport, but I'm not going to Southport. Where I'm going is a bit strange and a bit serious and a bit unusual for FatSteve. So, come back to you.
And the consumption of alcohol is prohibited on all rail trains and stations.
I can't drink and smoke. What are we going to do, folks? See you later. Keep reminding me I have to be serious today. Bye, everybody. So it's come out of the underground and I'm above ground now. I've got the Mersey to the right, and just over there is that new football ground. And that's the Hill Dickinson Stadium in the distance. And
now approaching
Sandhill.
Change at this station for services to Headbolt Lane and Ormskirk.
You can see it's quite quiet, folks. Those of you that are old enough may remember this. And I want to take you back to the 12th of February 1993, which is rather a sad day in the history of Britain, when something terrible happened in here. I'm in a shopping centre in Bootle. The older ones of you will remember. A lot of this now has been knocked down, so they say. This is an unusual video for me, not like the others. So on that day, I think I said the 12th of February 1993, there's a lady in here with a little lad called James Bulger, and she lost sight of him for a minute, and he saw two older boys, about 9, stealing something. They panicked, they saw him, they grabbed him, led him away from his mum, and took him a few miles away from here on the railway, and they murdered him. I think he was about 3 years old. A very, very horrific murder, where 2 children murdered another child. The only other thing like it in history was Mary Bell, I think, in Preston many years ago. So I don't know where in here he was abducted from. I'm just driving round to reminisce a little bit. Got peacocks down the end here, big home bargains, Aaron Foods. The shops will be quite different to what they were in '93. So a very, very sad place to come. Some may moan at me saying I'm being morbid, but I'm just trying to educate the younger people that follow the channels, to let them know how cruel and how strange and how bad this world can be. When 2 9-year-old boys abduct, kidnap and murder a baby. quite strange. I'm going to try, well, I was going to try and get to the area of the railway where they took and murdered him, but it's blowing a gale. It's now raining. I don't know if I'll make it there or not. Big TSB there. Brooks, CEX, Halifax. And the Esplanade. Lady ranting. So folks, no jokes today, no humour, just sad reflection. So there's video online of what happened here. So folks, I'm back at the tube station where it's above ground here. Bit of a sad video. I tried for nearly an hour and a half to get a bus or a taxi to the railway bridge where they found the body of Jamie. Unfortunately, none of the bus drivers were old enough to know where that was. I have it on a Google map, showed it to them, they didn't understand it. I went and had a chat with a taxi driver who was a bit younger than me, and he knew where it was, but he wanted 15 quid I think to get me there, which I don't understand. It only says it's 2 miles away. So I'm going to go back into Liverpool. I might film a bit, but it keeps raining on and off, I'm not sure. I might just head back to Blackpool, and I'll have to use some stock footage of the railway bridge. I might put together a little bit of news reports from what happened. But anyway, it's been a sad morning talking about this. It's affected me badly. Back in the day when I was working as a journalist, I sat in for half a day for 2 different news agencies, Granada, I can't remember the other one. There was a huge building across the road from Preston Crown Court, and the press took over the 7th floor, and there was audio link chatting about the trial. I said I managed to get in there on 2 occasions. The boys were sat in suits, and they had like orange crates with a cloth over them for them to sit on, to raise them up high enough to be in the dock at Preston Crown Court. That was one of the last official things I did to do with journalism. It's affected me so bad, I stopped doing what I was doing. it still haunts me to think about. So here's Preston Crown Court as it used to be in 1993, and this is where Thompson and Venables were brought. Quite a long trial, lots and lots of witnesses who'd seen Thompson and Venables with James Bulger on the 2.5 mile journey to the railway line where they murdered him. The murder was quite horrific. Jamie was battered to death with bricks and covered over in the stones that you see on railway lines, and left. The boys went back a little bit later and they noticed that the stones were rising and falling. Now, as we have today, big Geo Emery van here, and back in the day, that building there used to be judges' lodgings, and these are the doors where Thompson and Venables were taken in for the trial. Up there at the court building, in one of them. So Matt had a police escort through the city. Eventually it would come along this street and turn him there. And that's the back of the court. Now if we can head down here, a huge building in front of us, which I don't know if I can get to because of this roadworks. Let's have a little look. That's where the press was. I was on the 7th floor. That had been taken over by the press. There was an audio link to the court, but no video link back in them days. So on 2 occasions I got to sit in on the trial. Once for a national newspaper and once for a television company. So that's the Turtle Bay down here now, and this used to be the entrance to that building, I think. It's different now, residential apartments. So we're all on the 7th floor in there, and this wind's very bad and going in my eyes and everywhere with these leaves. Quite strange. On the last day of the trial, the jury was out, and there was a man called Albert Kirby, who was the senior police officer who coordinated the other officers in catching Thompson and Venables, taking them to trial. And on that day in the 7th floor, Albert Kirby was sat there smoking a pipe. It was non-smoking, obviously, but he was the chief of police from Merseyside, I think. And he had a table in front of him full of piles of A4 with sort of resumes of the officers who'd worked so hard to catch the 2 10-year-old boys, and photographs of the route that they took him from the shopping centre to the railway. and the jury was still out, and I was with another journalist, and we walked over to the table while the jury was out, and I went to pick up one of these leaflets, this information about the officers, and Albert Kirby looked at me and suddenly coughed and said, he said, "I'm sorry, but you can't have any of that until after the sentencing." And I said to him, "But sir, the jury's out." He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, the jury's not found them guilty yet. So how can you talk about after the sentencing? How can you talk about after the sentencing?" And he said, "I'm the senior investigating officer." He said, "I know they did it. My team caught them, my team arrested them. And yeah, he was quite adamant that they were going to be found guilty before they were found guilty." And oh, that's a nice shirt. And it rather niffed me off, and I whinged a little bit. He nodded, and the security came, and the other journalists that were with me and me got asked to leave the building for asking a question. Now, Albert Kirby, I think, died last year. He may have wrote a book about it, I'm not sure. I'll have to have a look when I get home. I'm heading back down now to the station. I might get a little bit of something to eat while I'm here, I'm not sure. But that's the story of the trial. Horrendous things came out, and every day when the jury went out for a while, or when they went for a cup of tea, there were some 300 journalists on that floor in that building, 7th floor, and we would have a discussion as to what we were going to say and what we were going to tell the public had happened that day, because it was that emotive and that strange. It was like some people wanted to tell it as it was, and some of them just wanted to sugarcoat it, and I assure you that most of it was sugarcoated quite badly. Well, I'm in Preston. It's blowing a gale. I picked the worst day ever for a ride out to Liverpool and Preston. So, I'll just cross this road. I'm going to leave you there. I'm nearly back at the station. So folks, I'm on the train. It's 13:30 and punk rockers are important on this train. See how many you can spot. You won't spot many because I'm not going to film anybody else but me. So it's been a mad day. I've been to Liverpool, I'm back, and then I've been to Preston. Normal mooching video and a little special I've been making. So for now I'm going to leave you there. Keep safe everybody. FatSteve, Spicehead-Media. Just leaving beautiful downtown Preston. On my way home to Blackpool. Catch you all later. Bye.